What's your process like whenever you're writing for one of those books? Do you outline first? How do you outline, or is it a you kind of have the story in your head, you sit down and stare at a wall, or what's your process like?
There's a lot of that. I mostly co-write, so that's, I think, maybe a little different than what a lot of people do. I outline because my writing partner can't move forward with the process unless we outline. If you left me to my own devices, I'd probably just do a first draft and then be like, I'll fix it later. So I'm always the person who winds up writing the first draft, but we often work from an outline, and mine kind of looks like the way you would structure like an academic essay, because I studied English in school, so all those MLA essays are burned into my brain. So it's a lot of like A, for the big beat, and then these are the sub beats, and I try when I'm planning not to get too caught up in like, oh, and then they can say, but sometimes the moment just strikes you, and it's really great when you get something and you're like, look, I already wrote the dialogue, how fabulous is that? So I usually do the first draft, and then Jason will take the second draft, and then if all of that goes well, we'll do the third draft together with something like Jupiter Jet or upcoming OGN Science, which are original IPs that you have to create from the ground up. It's a little harder, so we'll do more. I think our first issue of Jupiter Jet, we had 7 drafts on.
Wow.
Which is a lot.
That is a lot.
When you're working for an editor, sometimes they will come back with notes. They're usually very helpful. Work with an editor, even if it's just your friend, because they're able to see things that you're not. I think the most drafts I've ever done for a company was 3. And I think that was with Apollo, but I think that's a respectable number. Any number of drafts is a respectable number if it gets you a good product.
Whatever they do, however many it takes. If it takes you 100 drafts to get it done, as long as you're happy with what comes out, I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people who, when I write, I always have the TV on, so I'm always writing to something else at the same time, which is, I don't know if that's maybe the best way to write, but I'm usually writing to like a murder documentary, so think about that when you read my all-age children's comics.
It's funny, for me, I usually will either listen to a podcast or do nothing and just focus on writing. And sometimes I'm more productive when I'm listening to the podcast. Sometimes I'm just more productive when I'm focusing, just clicking on the keyboard and,
Interesting. I find that, just to make a broad generalization, I find that a lot of the male comic book writers I know like to be visually focused on it, and more of the women I know or visual or artists can sort of do it and have like a screen on at
Absolutely.
the same time. And I think that's really kind of fascinating.
It really is, to know how different people have different styles, and to creation. It's a whole world that people have their own style for everybody.
Yeah. I don't know how people can go to a coffee shop and work, because I'm like, there's strangers here. Why are you looking at me?
I think with a coffee shop, I think it's that you're holding, someone else is watching you and someone else is holding you accountable. You can't be surfing Facebook all day, or else these people will be judging you.
Can't be fighting with people on Twitter all day.
Exactly. You can't get into a Twitter war.
Oh man.